Alrighty, I guess we're going to begin. I don't see anyone trying to pop in, so I don't want to hold up the people who are here. So we're going to get started. I guess JJ and I are representing the knock team. Oh, Tom popped in. Yay. Okay, good.
Yay.
Yay.
Sorry about that.
That's
That's
okay.
okay.
Offside at the moment.
No problem. Thanks for joining us. So Tom is here. Would you like to introduce yourself, Tom, to the group? Oh, did we lose you?
Hey, you there?
Oh, can you hear
No.
us?
Yeah, reception's horrible in this building. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Do you want to introduce yourself to the group?
Sure. Hi, guys. I put on my camera, but again, I don't think I'd survive the bandwidth. My name's Tom Falls. I'm one of the network engineers at the NOC, helping drive the Teams phone system migration as well.
Great. So thanks for joining us. We are here to really kind of introduce you to what will be rolling out agency-wide, rolled out at Lipinski, and we will be moving from building to building, rolling out the new Microsoft Teams phone system. I already have built out on the Seed Academy website and I'll put that in the chat, this link here for you, a resource section so you can check out what the phone will look like. We did a kind of a question and answers. This kind of was built out while we were rolling out at Lipinski. So hopefully it answers all of the questions that you may have. And we will continue to build this out and put resources here to support this new phone system. Just a quick overview, and then maybe Tom can add in some more details, but the phone system will now function through your Microsoft Teams setup, I guess is the best way to describe that. So now the way that you make phone calls, you will be able to do that through the Teams app itself, and the headset, the handset actually, that you see here pictured on the website. And it kind of functions exactly like it does on your desktop application or even in your web version of Teams. So most people are finding themselves not even using their actual phone on their desk anymore and just functioning fully through the Teams app. And some people are really just staying to using their phone on their desk because that's their comfort. So either way is fine. But this will allow you a lot more functionality. You will be able to make and receive phone calls to your extension anywhere that you are. So if you're working remotely or working in a different building for a day or any of those things, you don't lose out on any of your phone calls coming in through your extension. So maybe, Tom, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that very general description.
Sure. I guess I'll add the voicemail since you are working remote. Your voicemail is now tied to your email when the migration happens. That being said, if you mark the voicemail read in your email, it's also now read on the phone. Vice versa, if you delete it, it also is now off the phone as well. So it's uniquely tied. Where the old system was a copy, now the voicemail is your mailbox.
And I'll just quickly show you, since I do have Teams phones, what it adds is this keypad here in the app. So when you click on calls, I now have this number pad here where I can actually type out a number and make a call right from the app itself. And essentially your phone, the new phone that will be on your desk, looks very similar to this in how you would make a phone call, except that it also has the actual push buttons as well. So you can still make a phone call the normal, regular way that you're used to as well. So I am going to go into the settings here and turn on the ability for you to turn on your cameras or mics if you had any questions. I know maybe some of you would want to know when your building in particular may be receiving these phones. That timeline hasn't fully been ironed out just yet. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we will have that set up and we'll be able to figure out, unless Tom, you have any updates that I haven't heard about yet as far as a timeline or the definite next building to be rolled out.
I know, I think we met recently. The next building will be Farber. We're talking about a phased approach on Farber, and unlike Lipinski, where we did everything all in one night. Farber will be broken out over several weeks.
Mhm.
That is dependent on hardware, which we're still waiting on.
Right. And so just so you know, we will be fully training all staff on these phone systems before you come in and have it on your desk and be expected to use it. So we have a kind of, um, I want to say open space type feel for this training. We're doing it a little bit differently. It worked really well at Lipinski, where we have the actual hardware set up attached to a computer for you to come and touch and feel and play and see how it functions in real time before you actually have to start using it in your daily work life. So that's kind of how the training will go. We'll go over some of the key points and some of the most important features that you'll need to know about. During the training as well. So you will all be trained before you will actually have to function using this new phone system. So again, this is a short What the Tech because the rest of the IT team it must be held up somewhere. So it was kind of going to be an intro to the phone system, but also a Ask Me Anything with that team and that group as well. So I don't want to hold anyone past what they are here to hear about. So today will just be about the phone system and just a little intro to that. You can kind of spread the word around your teams and your offices if that would be helpful for people to have the heads up about this kind of system rolling out soon to your building. As Tom said, hopefully Farber will be next, and we will be doing it in a phased approach, kind of by department slash floor. um, but we'll provide more information as that gets solidified for sure. Does anybody have any questions? I see Jen has a question. Will I lose any functionality? I feel calls from multiple extensions. How will Teams phones work in this instance? That's actually a great question, Jen, because we do have the sidecar for the phone. Tom, were we able to figure out exactly how that sidecar was going to work for a situation like Jen has where she has to field multiple extensions?
Sure. So the sidecar is an add-on there. It's going to be purely for what we call speed dials. Those are people you're going to call regularly or transfer calls to on a regular basis. As far as extensions go, now if you're talking about, like, say, your neighbor's extension, they get they can become your delegate, or you become their delegate to say. So what happens is when they get a phone call, you get it, and you're going to get a notification saying such and such is getting a phone call, and now you also get that call as well. You have the option to pick it up. There's options as well if you put it on hold that the person that was supposed to get the phone call can now pick it up. So we can dive into that definitely as we do more training on site. But
Yep.
it's a little different than the MyTel phones in the sense that it's not a flashing line button. It's now a notification on the screen saying who it's for, what it's from. You get a lot more detail in that regard.
Yep. And there's also like a call forwarding feature. And then you can drill down in the settings. The settings are really good. And you could kind of drill down into exactly how you want that to look for each number. And then there's also the delegate option. So you can choose how and what your delegates will be able to do. You can see that in the settings here. So you can choose your delegates and then choose if they're going to be able to make calls for you, receive calls for you, change call and delegate settings for you. So we can really drill down into the settings to be able to pick that out based off the needs of each extension that you're responsible for. That's a great question though, John.
A question in the Q&A as well.
Oh. So Kevin was asking, do we know how we will issue paging to our building on the new system? Tom, that's for you.
Paging should remain mostly unchanged. So if you're doing it on the MyTel phone now with an extension, that should remain unchanged. I know that there have been talks about other things in the long run, but that's gone. That's kind of gone nowhere at the moment. For now, it's going to remain the same. I believe most buildings are an extension at this point. Some might still use the old Bogan phones only.
Margaret has a question. Go ahead, Margaret, you have the floor.
Yes, I do. So when we got them here at Lipinski, I changed my ring to, and I did it in the options under this, so you can change it in 3 different locations.
Mhm.
And it doesn't change. Like the first initial part of the ring is different, but then it goes back to the standard ring. And that's one of the things that we find a few people here, I don't know who, but everybody in the building has the same ring. And now if you just walked away from your desk for a few minutes or, close, but you think your phone's ringing and it's not you. So I just want to know more about how to do that.
So you're saying that in the settings on the app itself or the settings on the phone itself, you're changing the ringtone?
I did it in the app and I
And then
did it
it
a little
doesn't
while
hold?
ago. So
So
yeah, if you know where
oh,
it is, Tom.
yeah, it's on the
Yeah.
phone. You have to. We can probably pull it up. I've started taking some screenshots on the phone to
Yep.
make a little better instructions on that for you guys in the long run. However, the phone ringtone does not unify to the computer's
Right.
ringtones.
Right. You have
So
to
what
do
you
it
set on the
separate.
computer is different.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's one of the
Okay, but
a
I
lot of the
did
settings
change the
do.
computer one
Yeah,
and
so the computer
everything is still the
should.
same.
Okay, we can always pop by. Not like I don't know where your office is, Margaret. I'll pop by if I get back early enough, and
Yeah,
I'll dive
definitely.
into it with you.
Okay, it's not urgent. I was just curious.
No.
Yeah, because so the way it should work is that you're changing that setting, but you have to change it on each device. So you have to change it on the app, you have to change it on the phone, and if you have it on your cell phone as well, you would have to change it there too. That's how it's supposed to work. It doesn't hold the setting across devices, which is kind of frustrating. It kind of should, especially because it's the same account. But it should hold. So that's an interesting thing. So Tom, definitely let me know if there's something that we need to add to this resource section too to get ahead of that issue.
Yeah, I'll let you know what we find.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
Another
you.
question in
Yeah, no
Q&A.
problem. Yep. So Eileen's asking, when I answer another line, I would like a little intercom system to announce the call. Eileen, can you elaborate a little bit more on what you mean by that? I don't see her in this. Am I missing? Did she ask and then maybe
Okay,
knocked her out?
hi.
Oh, she is there. Okay, good.
Okay. When I answer a call for the assistant principal or principal, they're not picking up because they might be sitting at their conference table. They can't take a call right now, but they might take a call that would be one that they felt they didn't want to miss. So how do I, without having to get up with every phone call and knock on the door, if I feel that it's a call that they might want?
So there's something called transfer with consult. That might be
Oh,
an option for you. So when you hit the transfer button um, on the new system, it's going to give you an option to either just transfer the call automatically, or you have the option to transfer with consult. So that means that you could actually call the principal first and say, hi, I have so and so on the line. I know you wanted this call. Do you want to take it? And the principal would say yes or no. And then depending on what they say, if they said yes, you would click the transfer button and it would then ring to the principal's line.
terrific.
Does that sound like
Yeah,
that would help that problem? Okay, great. Yeah, so we
yes,
could
it
we could
does.
definitely we'll definitely show you how to use the transfer button. And that's
Okay.
that, and it's actually you can do it on the handheld phone itself, but it's actually easier to do on the app when you have that open too. So I could show you
Uh-huh.
all both ways to do it.
Great.
Yep,
Thank you.
of course. Great question. Any other questions that you have, please let us know. Like I said, we will be definitely putting out a lot of information, timelines and training, and this is already on our website here. So please, take a look at it just to get yourself a little familiar with what's coming down. The good news is that for the most part, most of us are familiar with Teams in some capacity, in some way, hopefully. So this shouldn't feel like too big of a lift or too big of a change. I think it's more about the the smaller functionalities of how this is now going to function as a phone system that we will help you to feel more confident using the tools.
I will say, Teresa, just to add that for those that are on the call that are eligible and take the opportunity for remote work, the big advantage to the phone system when you're working remotely is that your phone will follow you wherever you are. So you don't have to call in for your voicemails. If you have Teams open or you install the Teams app on your mobile device, when someone calls your phone, it will ring wherever you are. So you don't have to worry about my phone's in the office, I'm sitting at home, I have to call in periodically to get my voicemails, or someone else is answering my line. Your phone will ring on your laptop, on your mobile device if you have it with you and you've installed the Teams app, etc.
Which also did come up as kind of an annoyance, I would say, to some people, because it will ring on any device you have it open on or downloaded on. So if your phone, it'll ring on your computer, and it'll also ring on your handset on the desk itself. But don't worry, there are settings that we could adjust so you don't feel like everything around you is ringing. But to Cliff's point, even at Lipinski, there were a lot of staff that were super excited about that take the opportunity to work remotely, and they were using like the Google Calls or the free calling apps so that they could make calls while they were working remotely. And now they won't have to do that because they could just use the Teams phone system. So that is definitely a plus. We have another Q&A in here. The transfer with console give the option to answer. Eileen, the transfer with consult gives the option for the other person that you're transferring to answer the line. Yes.
Can they answer me out loud? You know, if they spoke when I use the transfer with consult, could they say, take a message, please?
Well, you're going to, when you consult, you're actually going to be ringing the principal themselves. They would be picking up the line to talk to you first. So you would ask them, do you want this call or do you want me to take a message?
Okay, so this for me is not going to be as helpful as I thought, because I thought it would be more of an open voice.
You want an actual intercom.
Like an intercom.
Okay.
Because if they're not picking up the phone, they're not going to pick up the call from me either, because they might not be at their desk.
Right. Well, do you know, does your principal or assistant principal, do they use Teams chat by any chance?
They do. Oh,
so that could be
okay.
an option, really, where you
Okay.
could just chat them through Teams and say, hey, I have, so-and-so on the line. Do you want me to take a message or transfer you the call? And they can
Sure.
answer you right there.
Okay.
That could be an option. There is, I believe, a walkie-talkie option in Teams too, Cliff. I'm not sure if we have access to that.
There is on the phones as well.
There is,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So
Yeah.
that may be something we can explore as well.
Okay.
But that means you have to, every time you say something, you have to say over.
Yes, exactly.
Or 10-4.
Yeah.
Only you, Cliff.
Right.
Only me.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Don't worry. Like all these little kind of caveats, these little kinks, we will work out with each individual user as needed, for sure. We'll come up with solutions that work best for you and your building and all the staff. All righty. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Who's excited for Microsoft Teams phones? Because you should be. It's definitely a lot more seamless, I think, and it'll feel more comfortable because it is, again, a Microsoft embedded product. So it should feel good to you, and it will also allow us to get more involved in using Teams in other ways. So I'm going to say that it's 12:50. We are still here till you all leave. If you do have any other questions, please feel free to ask us, but that will end our session for today. Stay tuned for the next series of sessions that are coming up. That will be a collaboration with CIT IQ and all the different IQ platforms that we have. We're doing a big training series on that. So stay tuned for that schedule to come out soon. That should be starting next month in October. So we're really excited about that. That was something that a lot of people asked for. So that will be coming out next month. And if you ever have any other suggestions for trainings that you want, please reach out. Otherwise, thanks so much. Have a great afternoon.